Hey guys, welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'm going to show you the technique I use to make these watercolor earrings. It's really easy, you don't need a lot, and I think you're really going to enjoy this. So the colors I chose were some blue tones, and then I added a tan and a shimmery white as well. And then black is going to be your base color. So no matter what other colors, black should be your base, okay? Then I'm using a white translucent. This will actually give our earrings more of a dull look at the end. Okay, and then your acrylic roller and tissue knife. Now I'm going to start by rolling out all of my colors, and I'm going to start with my black because that's my base. So let's roll them out. Okay, so I've rolled out all of my colors, and as you can see, I rolled them pretty thin. You don't want your colors to be really thick for this. You want them to be fairly thin, and I'll show you why. So your next step to do is to tear your colors into small pieces. Now they don't have to be the same size. You want them to be all different shapes and sizes, things like that. That's what's going to give it the cool effect. Okay, so now that we have all of our colors torn into pieces, we're actually going to start to place them onto our base on this black slab of clay. Now you're just going to eyeball this. I'm just placing them on here according to what I think looks good. So everyone's preference is going to be different, and you just do what you think looks good for your pieces. But this is really fun. It kind of reminds me of paper mache, like when I was a kid doing paper mache projects. Okay, so I want to lift this up so you can see all the texture that's on this. It looks really cool, but as you can see, I've completely covered the black underneath, and that's really important for this. And now our next step is going to be to take our acrylic roller and roll this out and get it even. If you have a pasta machine, roll it through that. You don't want to do it super thin, but you want to get it maybe 1/8 of an inch thick. Okay, so I've rolled it out, and you can see that it's pretty thin, okay, and the black is completely covered on the front. Now our next step is going to be to tear this into pieces, and then we're just going to place them and kind of pile them around, and I'll show you here what I'm talking about. But this is just like the other technique. We're just tearing and placing. Okay, so we're done tearing and placing our pieces down, and we've essentially just created another slab, but now you can see those black lines coming through from the base underneath. And now I'm just rolling it out to try to get them all to stick together. That way when I lift it to roll it through my pasta machine, it's not gonna break apart and create holes in the clay. And I'll lift it up here so you can see how cool this looks with those black lines showing through the clay. See how cool that looks? Okay, now let's move on to our next step. Okay, now this is where we add our translucent clay. And as you can see, this is rolled out paper thin. You want this as thin as you can get it without tearing it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna actually place this white translucent right over this slab that we've created. And when I do it, I try to be really careful because it's so thin, it can be really delicate and tear easily. And as I place it, I try to make sure I'm pushing out any air so we don't get air bubbles trapped in there. So I'm just being super careful so I don't rip it. and at the same time gently pressing it into the clay. Now I have a little piece that's showing and there's some extra on the end, so I'm just going to tear that off and put it on my color that's showing through right here on the side. Then I'm just going to take my acrylic roller and I'm going to gently roll over the top of this just to get it to stick to our slab that we've created. Now the fun part is going to be choosing your cutters and cutting out your shapes to create your earrings. Okay, so now that I have my shapes cut out, I'm going to throw these in the oven at 275 for 25 minutes. All right, here they are. They're all done. As you can see, that white translucent that we put on top gives almost like a hazy look. So if you want more of a vibrant look, I would go with just plain translucent. But anyways, I hope that this tutorial was helpful for you guys, and I hope that you enjoyed it, and I can't wait to see you next time for the next tutorial. Bye guys!